It's a nice day out. So we're in chapter 4 of Revelation. So this is a very image uh, filled chapter. It's describing the throne of God and what's going on around it and who's sitting on the throne. God, and this is Christ is introducing this to John, and there's these four cherubims, angels, with one's got a head of a bull, the other one's got a face of a lion, the other one's got a face of a human, the other one's got a face of an eagle, and they got 6 wings, and they're around the throne. Then you got these 24 elders, and they're praising God. And then you got these another 240 elders, okay? And it's just giving you the picture. There's symbolism with all of this, okay? And I've read it, at least 20 times, right? And I'm thinking, the guy that did the movie Pacific Rim, but the aliens, these giant aliens, and these giant robots to fight the aliens. That person should do a movie about Revelations and create the imagery, right? And then they talk about this crystal around the throne, glass or whatever, right? And it's just a very image-filled, just very vivid description of the throne of God. Now after reading this like 20 times, I'm thinking, I'm betting that when Christ was teaching the disciples during his ministry, that he had talked about this at some point. Most everything Christ you can track back to the Old Testament and the prophets and try to explain or expound on what was happening at that time. And this is, I think, there was a lot of things that Christ told the disciples that he didn't talk to everybody else about. And there's a lot of things that Matthew, Mark, and Luke are just commentating. They're just giving what happened, right? And the letters from Paul wasn't there with Christ, but he knew a lot, okay? And I think then there's James and Judah and Peter. They're pretty much addressing what's going on in the church after the crucifixion. And in this part of Revelations with John, I think he's spilling some of the beans of what was taught by Christ, him describing the throne of God to the disciples, and then him parroting it. But that's just my guess. All right. Good day.